I think we're live. So good morning, beloveds. There is next to no chance of seeing Dante today because he is in the top of the closet. Because he's big enough to jump from the floor to the top of a shelf, which then lets him get to the top shelf in the closet, which is like literally this far. And he's just looking at me like, what? He's a cat. So we are doing the hidden power of the Bible. Let me do the housekeeping and then we'll get on with this. And all the housekeeping is me reminding you that we are Creative Life Spiritual Center. Website is creativelife.org. Constant contact email, info@creativelife.org. It will get you one email a week, tells you what's going on for the week and the month. The hot links are hot. So click here now means it. It's also a blind CC, so nobody will see your email. You won't end up on anybody else's email list because of us. And when I say one a week, I mean it. It's a real person doing it. He doesn't have time for more than that. The only reason you would get more than one, and it's usually only one more, is if something unusual happens. At which point I will point out, it is hurricane season and we do live on the Gulf Coast. It's usually weather related. All right. And then the social medias, we do not monetize the social medias. We don't want to deal with the ads any more than you do. So we ask you instead to go like, subscribe, follow based on which platform you're on, and then engage with the individual post by reacting, commenting, and sharing. It bumps us in the algorithm. So you, by doing those actions, you get our stuff in front of more people. So it's a free and easy way that you can support the center. And we are Creative Life Spiritual Center or Creative Life Spark, and I am the running Ryan across the social medias that I am on. So here we are. All right. Now, we are doing Hidden Power of the Bible, and we are doing he doesn't have this set up in chapters. He has it in parts. And so we are doing the reading from the Hebrew Testament. Yes, I know what he calls it, and I'm not going to do that because Reverend Norm would have my head. And I don't want Reverend Norm to have my head. So I would tell you Reverend Norm is resting in peace, but we all know that's not true either. Wherever he is raising, whatever ruckus he is doing, I want him to do that, not coming here after my head. So we are reading. So the very first thing we did was read a couple of the Genesis a couple of passages from Genesis. And so that is what Ernest is working on right now. And so I know we are going to do the image of God. I guess it depends on how quickly we get through it, whether I'll do another one or not, because this is a full page. So let's tackle what Ernest thinks about the image of God. So, and God said, let us make humanity in our image after our likeness. And God created humanity in its own image. In the image of God, it created them, male and female, in the image of God, it created them, male and female created it them. God is the one back of all things, the mother-father principle back of, in, and through everything, the androgynous unit. It is one of the reasons why you will occasionally hear Science of Mind ministers say mother, father, God. It's one of those things where it was Ernest being inclusive. Jesse used to do that. He doesn't do it so much anymore. He's moved on into more gender-neutral language, and I tend to prefer the gender-neutral language simply from the standpoint of some people had difficult relationships with their mother and or their father. So, you know. And, you know, he says the androgynous unit. Humanity is the image of God reproducing the divine nature on the scale of the individual life. Now, I'm going to remind you that this was written in 1928. He does say man. And in 1928, man didn't mean male. Man meant humanity. The way our language is coded now, there's a certain percentage of the population that reads man and assumes that it does not include women. But in 1928, it did. But that's one of the reasons why I tend to use humanity. Because, yeah, I like to use gender-inclusive language. And I also like to use gender-inclusive language from the standpoint if there are people who don't identify as either one. And you know what? If you don't want to be stuffed into a box, that's fine. I don't want to stuff you into a box. So humanity is the image of God, reproducing the divine nature on the scale of the individual life. Now, here he says, see the nature of man from the Science of Mind text. So he's referencing you back to his text. Both male and female proceed from the one who is neither male nor female, but who contains elements of both. And that's very important. And again, he says, see repression and sublimation. I cannot say that word apparently, in the Science of Mind text. So he's referring you back to, if you want more information, here's where you go in the Science of Mind text. Now, it's very important. Both male and female proceeded from the one who is neither male nor female, but contains elements of the both. So when Genesis says that he created humanity in the image of God, you can stop envisioning the old man sitting on the throne, because that is only an element of God. It is not the whole of God. Everything is included in God, both male and female, and the androgynous unit. So, humanity is a little world within a big world. God, whose life is self-conscious and whose word is creative, individualizes itself through humanity. Hence, humanity's life is also self-conscious, and its word, their word, becomes creative in their world. Okay, so that's where you get the concept of macrocosm and microcosm. We are microcosms. God is a macrocosm. So we are a small, self-contained unit that mimics a larger. And I hesitate to say God is a self-contained unit, because God contains everything and is infinite, therefore is not, but everything that is included. So we are a small microcosm of a macrocosm. And that's really important, because then it allows us to say, well, if God is self-conscious and God is creative, since we are a microcosm of God, then we are self-conscious and our word is creative in our world. It is creative in our world. And to a degree, we can be creative in other people's worlds. We are most creative in our world, and we are creative in other people's worlds when they grant us permission. When you are asked to treat for somebody else, say, there you are. But if a third party comes to you and says, I want you to treat about this party, do you have permission to treat about that? If you don't, you are not necessarily going to be creative in their world. So, which is most of the time why we look at them and go, okay, so this is how this works. And that's not how it works. So, this is the great lesson that the Bible sets before us, the creative power of our own thought. In many different ways, it approaches the subject telling what will happen when our thoughts are constructive. Also, what will happen when it is destructive. And here he gives you, again, see Christ and the Antichrist in Science of Mind. The Bible was written to show the way to freedom under divine law. And God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and have dominion. Okay, again, there's that language thing. This was written almost 100 years ago, and the word dominion has changed. I would prefer have stewardship, because it's closer to what the word actually translates as. It means to have care of. You are not above, but you are responsible for caring for, because you are part of the system. The divine plan is always one of freedom. God can conceive of nothing less. because that's what God is. God is freedom. Therefore, God can't conceive of bondage. We, on the other hand, are good at that. That's the illusion of separation. All bondage, fear, and negation come from a misinterpretation of the law of reality. But the question might be raised, why are we created with the possibility of suffering? This will be answered later in the heading, under the heading of the story of the prodigal son. If you have never read Ernest's interpretation of the prodigal son, you are missing out. It is phenomenal. It is one of the things that I have leaned into because it tells the story. And I like that it deals with both sons. It deals with the one who, ran off and the one who stayed behind. Because, the one who stayed behind is bitter and angry. And, the father has an answer for that one too. So, okay, so that is the image of God. And I think that that's good for today. I don't want these to be long. So tomorrow we'll pick up with involution and evolution, which is a constant topic in science of mind. Because we're always talking about invoking and evoking. So it's always a good idea to get that one straight. So we'll pick up with evolution tomorrow. All right, beloveds, I am now going to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day, a take care of business day, a take care of yourself day, a take care of whatever it is that you need to do today. And let's get this week started off right day. A you got this day, a drink plenty of water day, a be aware of the heat day. It is going to be hot. It looks like a whole lot of the eastern seaboard and, well, us, because, this is where we live. The heat index is going to be in the hundreds. So please be aware of that. And now I've gotten off track. So cuddle your fur babies day, tell somebody you love them day, look in the mirror and see the divine looking back at you day, eat something really amazing day, listen to some good music, read a good book, make sure you make time to sit down and rest day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, because occasionally it is, simply have a day. You are enough, just as you are. You are a beloved expression of the divine. You are a brilliant light, divine spark, spirit in motion, God in action, an absolutely beautiful masterpiece, and a work in progress at the same time, at your own pace. And, as Reverend Jesse likes to say, you are a godly. So explore the truth of your being. Get to know who the divine knows you to be, because the divine knows you to be good. And from there, anything is possible. Because good is all the divine knows. So, all right, beloveds. I'm going to remind you, Reverend David will be on sometime this afternoon. I will be back with you in that 9 to 9:15 space. And we will continue on with the hidden power of the Bible. So, take care.